So today we're in section 10.3, volume of spheres. It's really the last kind of figure that we're going to focus on. We did cylinders, we did cones, and now we're doing spheres. Okay, well the first thing you need to know is your formula. V equals 4/3 pi r to the third power. V equals 4/3 pi r to the third power. Okay, so in example 1, we're finding volume of the spheres. It's not something that you have to redraw, okay? You don't have to try to draw the spheres unless you're just feeling ambitious and just want to do it. Okay, you know what ambitious means?
Yes, ma'am. I think so.
All right, very good. So to find the volume, we need to first start with the formula. So that's really all you need to write on your notes. Is your formula. V equals 4/3 pi r to the third power. Yes, r to the third power. Okay, and then we're just going to plug in our information. 4/3 times pi, which is our 3.14 value, times the radius to the third power. And now what I'm going to do is, just like I talked to you about with cones, before you worry about the fraction, because we're not going to use that fraction button, you want to multiply the actual numbers first, and then we'll go back and multiply by the fraction. All right, so let's go ahead and do 3.14 times 4 to the third power. Now, that's not 3.14 times 4 and then raise it to the third power. You have to do 4 to the third power first, okay? So let's go ahead and simplify this part of the equation. All right, what's 4 to the third power? That's like one of the ones that was like really common when we did chapter 8. You remember? What's 4 to the third power? 64. 64. Okay, so 3.14 times 64, guys. Now you're going to multiply that by 4/3, all right? So I get 200.96, and why do you think I put it into a fraction? I can put any whole number over 1. Why do you think I put it into a fraction? Why would that be helpful when I'm not using any type of a fraction button to do this multiplication, Faith?
Because 4/3 is in a fraction.
Yes, and when I have two fractions, my rule for multiplying is to multiply my numerators and denominators. So this reminds me, hey, I'm multiplying 4 times 200.96, and I'm multiplying 3 times 1. 4 times 200.96 is 803.84. And then what's 3 times 1? What's 3 times 1? 3. Okay, and now I can simplify this fraction. I can divide 803.84 divided by 3 to get my answer. Okay, and my directions specifically say to round to the nearest tenth. So that's what I did in my answer. All right, so it's just a matter of plugging it in, multiply what you can first, and then multiply it by 4/3, multiply your numerators, and then divide by 3. I want you to go ahead and do letter B now. Go ahead and do letter B. Plug in your numbers and solve. Somebody get an answer? All right, let's see. Let's start here. Chloe, what value did you plug in for R? Oh, good job. Did anybody else catch that it was the diameter?
Yes.
Yeah, good job, guys. Okay, so 4/3 times 3.14 times 5 to the third power, which is going to be 392.5. Okay, and now multiply that by 4/3 and divide by 3. Or, well, multiply 392.5 times 4, then divide by 3. Who got 523.3? 0.3. Now, are you supposed to have the repeating bar over it?
No.
No, why?
We're supposed to round to the nearest tenth.
Yes, because you are rounding to the nearest tenth. Good job. You guys ready for your last example?
Yes. Wait, yes. Yes, I'm ready.
Your last slide for the lesson?
The rest No, she's not.
Your classwork assignment.
Watch it happen.
Yes, I'm for real. Okay, example 2, see, look, there's example 2, there's the end. Okay, so in example 2, I'm finding the radius of a sphere. So now instead of solving for volume, I'm solving for radius. Obviously, there's no base and there's no height, so there's really only one other variable I can solve for. Okay, oh my goodness. All right, then you didn't see that. I have no idea why I just did that. Okay, so I start off with my formula. Okay, volume equals 4/3 pi r to the third power. So the volume here is 288. But then what is that little symbol after the 288? That's the pi symbol. Do you guys remember when we did that the other day? You had a pi, so then you had to multiply 288 times what? 3.14 equals 4/3 times 3.14 times r to the third, which I don't know. Okay, what's 288 times pi?
904.
Okay. 904.32 equals 4/3 times 3.14. Well, 4 times 3.14 divided by 3 is 4.186. Now, the 6 is repeating in your calculator. You don't have to worry about that. We're not trying to convert repeating decimals. Okay, we're going to be close enough. I mean, the 6 is in the thousands place. We're going to be close enough, okay? Times r to the third. So now, what would be my next step to solve for r, Jakari? Divide both sides by 4.186. Okay? And then I get 216. All right, it's like 216 and like a little decimal, but at this point, 216 is a nice number to round to before I take the cube root. Equals r to the third. Wait a second, why did I say cube root? Aren't I supposed to take a square root when I have an exponent?
Yeah.
What's my exponent? 3. And I know that the inverse operation of the third power is the cube root. Cube root of 216 is 6. That looks like a funny N. There we go. R is approximately 6 inches. So on your quiz and your test next week, you need to be able to determine the difference between a cylinder, a cone, and a sphere. Can you do that?
Yeah.
You should be able to. Okay, then you need to be able to apply your formulas. I know I'm looking at a cylinder, so I need to use the formula for cylinder. I know I'm looking at a sphere, so I need to use the formula for sphere. And then really, guys, that is the greater majority of your test. Your test will also include sections 9.4 and 9.5 because you have not been tested on those sections yet. Okay, so there's going to be probably about at least 5 questions, maybe closer to 10 questions from Chapter 9 on your test. But that's going to be reviewed thoroughly between Friday's review time and then Tuesday and then Monday on your quiz as well. All right, so as far as Chapter 10 is concerned, this is everything we need to know for Chapter 10. Point 3, Chapter 10.3.